It's still okay. Now, when we study this sutta, so we're going to see few viewpoint. Some of the viewpoint will be on in terms of personality of the Buddha. Some is in terms of meditation. Some in terms of the actual Dhamma. Now, when we see this one, so I think I started this last week, but it's good to cover this also. Now, the Buddha, after he enlightened, he was thinking who to teach. So he decided he want to teach Alala Kalama and Udakalama Buddha. So these two are, can say, his teacher when he was practicing as ascetic. And why did he start want to teach them? Because they are wise, they were wise, they are learned, they were intelligent, and they have been learned one with little dust. Means that they know that they are somebody with less defilements. So if they be able to understand the Dhamma, so they be able to enlighten fast. But then the Deva told him that Allah Kalama died 7 days ago. Then it came to his knowledge and vision. So means that besides receiving the news from the Deva, the Buddha also confirmed by his knowledge, right? So he had the Alalakama. So he said, it's a pity if he can listen, he will understand the Dhamma. Then he think about another one. There's a Udaka Lama Buddha, also wise and little dust. All right. So from this conversation, what we know that is that the Buddha was thinking about the recipient, the best one. All right. The best one were his two former teachers. Another thing is we can think of in terms of personality, Buddha decided he want to repay the teacher's debt, We call it the gratitude of teacher. So it's also is one way to keep himself humble. Even though he already become Buddha, he also think about his former teacher. Of course, his enlightenment was nothing to do with them because they taught all the way to jhana. He gave out his best vipassana. So we can see here the Buddha appreciate and grateful to the former two teachers. So Uddata Lama also died one evening before. Then after that, when he know that these two not alive, so he was thinking, who should I teach? Then he said, oh, the group of 5 monks were very helpful to me. They attended to me while I was striving, right? Now, what if I to teach these 5 group of monks and where do they stay? So they were at the Varanasi, near the Varanasi in the Deer Park. Okay. Varanasi now is India, it's called Varanasi. So you can go there, right? And then Isipatana. Isipatana is Isi is hermit, Patana is like falling down. It's like the last time where the hermit is flying on the sky and they landed the place. So it's a hermit landing place, Isipatana. Now Miga, like we learn in Pali, Miga is translated deer, but Miga means beast or means four-legged. So actually this is a place where Da is to do with giving compassion to the animals. Actually, this is an animal sanctuary because during the last time when the Buddha was a bodhisattva, so that he asked the king to give the safety to the animals. So the king promised. So this is an animal sanctuary place, means beside the deer, also many animals. So they are near this place near the Varanasi. So the Buddha walked there, right? Then he literally walked there. Beside walking there, he actually met somebody very important called Upaka Ajiwaka, right? So Upaka. He is kind of like one kind of ascetic, not a Buddhist at all. So, but he saw something interesting. He said, oh, he called the Buddha also, friend, your faculties, Indriya, are very clear, your skin very bright and pure. So this show that if somebody enlightened like Buddha, then the facial expression will be different from other people, right? So he asked the Buddha, who's your teacher? Which Dharma you prefer? So the Buddha answered this very interesting. You see? He said, who should I point as teacher? Means that he said, I have no teacher. So the Buddha said, I am conquering, I am all wise, I am undefiled in regard to all things. So I give up all, I liberated to destruction of craving. So he has no teacher. So here, this point, the Buddha said, he said this means that even though he had the two previous teacher, but they are not his teacher because this path is his discovered by himself. There's no teacher for me. There's no one like me is found. No person equal to me in the world with gods. I'm the worthy one, Arahant. I'm the unsurpassed teacher, Satta Anuttara. I'm the Samma Sambuddha. Okay, here the Buddha explained that he is Samma Sambuddha. So we have many types of Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, we have Pacceka Buddha. Okay, Samma Sambuddha is the Buddha that be able to teach others, lead others to enlighten. And then he will go to a Kasi, to Dhammachakra, roll the Dhamma. And then beat the drum of deathless, that were the world that blind. So the Buddha said, it's like they didn't see, they're covered by ignorance, so they are blind. Then they say, if you declare friend your worthy one, infinite victor. Okay. So there's no victor like me who attend the destruction of Poland. So that's why I'm called Gino. Okay. So this is actually interesting. All right. So actually the Upaka, he didn't believe in what the Buddha said, but he just remembered this person is called Jina, something like that, right? Then he shook his hand, means that he not really agree with that. And then he take another path and went away, all right? And then he used the word Hupeya, all right? It may be so, all right? So at this point, he didn't even accept who is the Buddha. But later, when I think the story is that later he seems to, yeah, if I'm not wrong, he seems to, after that he left the ascetic, then he go and get married, and then the wife make fun of him. Then after that he looked for the Buddha, and he looked for somebody called Jina. So actually later he become Buddhist. Okay. So it's a very interesting story about the episode of this Upaka. But later it's helpful. This conversation is helpful for him because later he come to learn the Dhamma. Okay, then the Buddha all the way to the five group ascetic. But the problem is the five group ascetic last time they treat him like friend. Okay, now they didn't think he's a Buddha, okay, because they didn't even know he's Buddha. So but they start to criticize, he's the one give to luxuries, because they saw him go back to eating. At that time they will practice sometimes very hard as asceticism, like no eating, no fasting, like bathing on the cold water, go to the like worship the heat and so on, the fire. So they thought that Gautama is given to luxury, and then he came back. So he should not be worshipped, should not be stored up, right? Should not be take the bowl and sit. But we can prepare a seat. Why they prepare a seat to him? Because Buddha was of the noble lineage. He's a prince. He's a king lineage. So that's why they need to prepare a seat for him. So if he want, he can sit down. Okay. So you can see they didn't believe him, right? So, but they cannot keep agreement, because when they see the Buddha with very bright and very calm demeanor, so they come and meet him. Some to the bowl and robe, some prepare the seat, some prepare the water for washing, but still they call him by name. Okay, they call him Gautama, call him Avoso, friend, right? Then the Buddha said, don't call me friend. I'm not your friend. I'm the Tathagata. I'm the Samma Sambuddha. Okay? Right? Tathagata is task gone. I'm perfect enlightened one. So you listen, I will instruct you to the deathless. All right? I will teach you as I've been practiced. So not long, then you will realize it. Okay. For the purpose of why the people go for home to homelessness and attain the unsurpassed conclusion in the spiritual life. Right? But the problem is they they didn't believe him. They say, oh, you already give up that difficult practice. You didn't attain any beyond the human being, any distinction at that time. But now you go into luxury. Now their luxury means that refer to he eat proper food. Okay. So they thought when they see the Buddha eat normal food, last time they will do severe fasting. Right. So by this story we can see, sometimes in Buddhism, not to say you must do fasting, you need to eat some normal food, right? Then how can the Buddha attain? Right? So the Buddha actually repeat few times, but they didn't believe him. I'll go through the story very fast because it's not so important point for meditation. All right, and then the second time, and then they say the same thing, the Buddha repeat the same time, and then after that, then the third time, right? They also say the same thing. Okay, then at this point, it's important. He said, "Are you aware, monks, of me having spoken like this before?" Okay. Do you know that have I speak to you before? Right? About listen to me, I'm Tathagata, I'm the enlightened one, and so on. Have you listened to me spoken like this before? Then they say, no, hetam bante. At this point, when you see the terms bante, right? So you can see at this point bante. So before that, they will call him uh Awoso. Okay. Before that, they address him as friend Gotama. So before that, they didn't believe him until when the Buddha said, "Are you aware of me spoken to you like this?" Then they say, "No, no hetam bante." So at this point, the Buddha say like this. Then at that point, the five, we call it monk, but actually they are still the ascetic. They start to believe in him. That's why they call him Bante. Okay, so at this point. Now the Buddha say again, okay, realize one monk is the worthy one, Tathagata, perfect Sambuddha. Listen is actually imperative mode. I will tell you about the deadliness. I will teach them. Following the path as I preach. So if you follow what I preach, so not long after, you will realize the purpose of why the young man of good family go forth from the homelessness, from the home to homelessness, and attain the end of the brahmacharya, okay, noble life or spiritual life. So you can you can experience, you can attain in this very life. So the Buddha already explained this nibbana, you can attain this life. So after that, then the Buddha instruct them one or two or three. Sometimes they go out, few stay, sometimes they few stay and some go out. So then continue until. So now you can see this part is, we can talk about this part is actually more on the, like what we say before. The Buddha keep on emphasize this jati, right? Jara, then marana, vyadi, right? So you can see here, this is really the teaching of the Buddha. It's very interesting to read. Like this is actually Four Noble Path, Four Noble Truth, the first truth about suffering in the life, right? The jati, birth, aging, sickness. So if somebody have the suffering, right? So they should understand the danger being subject to the jati dhamma. Dhamma here subject to birth. Or you can translate jati dhamma as we having the nature of birth. Right. This means that after we pass away, that we are coming to the samsara again. Right. So then we should seek for nibbana. That is birthless supreme enlightenment. And then being subject to jara and so on. Okay, so this is same thing, but here the point is you must know you have that like this. You must know the danger, right? Danger, adinawa. Okay, so this means that if you have this one, you should understand these are danger, not just satisfied with them. Then soka and so on. So all these are quite similar. So if they be able to understand the Four Noble Truth, the first truth on the suffering of the five aggregates, right? Then they see the danger. The danger means in terms of like craving, defilement, and so on. Second Noble Truth. Then they will arise a knowledge and vision. So that means that at this point they attain the Nibbana, right? So this the Buddha also showed them that this is my Nibbana. So the Buddha actually asked them to practice the same thing, contemplate the Four Noble Truth about this. Okay. Okay. So after, if they be able to contemplate the Four Noble Truths, then they will arise this one. This is a knowledge that if somebody attain as Arahant, they will really know this one. Liberation of mind, this is my last birth. So Arahant is clearly know that he will have no last birth. So this knowledge should come to anybody who attain enlightenment as Arahantship. Okay? Right. So this part is a story only. So it doesn't say about how should we practice, except we can contemplate as a Four Noble Truth. Now, this part is more on the practice. Okay, then this one we can ask someone to read. Take turn, Pui Liu, you can read now.
The 5 strengths of sense pleasure. There are these 5 strengths, monks, of sense pleasure. Which 5? Forms cognizable by the eye, which are wanted, lovely, pleasant, likable, sensual, enticing. Sounds cognizable by the ear, which are wanted, lovely, pleasant, likable, sensual, enticing.
Yeah, let me
Sounds cognizable by the ear, sorry. Smells cognizable by the nose, which are
okay.
wanted, lovely, pleasant, likable, sensual, enticing. Taste cognizable by the tongue, which are wanted, lovely, pleasant, likable, sensual, enticing. Tangibles cognizable by the body, which are wanted, lovely, pleasant, likable, sensual, enticing. These monks are the 5 strengths of sense pleasures. Whichever ascetics or brahmanas, monks, are tied, infatuated, and indulging in these 5 strengths of sense pleasure, who use them not seeing the danger in them, not knowing the escape from them, of them this should be known. They have fallen upon misfortune. They have fallen upon destruction. The wicked one can do whatever he likes with them. Just as monks, if there were a wild deer lying bound in a snare, about him you could know. He has fallen upon misfortune. He has fallen upon destruction. The hunter can do whatever he likes with him.
Okay, here. Yeah, this one.
Which one?
Here, this one, yeah.
And
This
when
one.
the hunter comes, he cannot depart as he desires. Just so, monks, whichever ascetics or brahmanas, are tied, infatuated, and indulging in these 5 strengths of sense pleasure, who use them not seeing the danger in them, not knowing the escape from them, of them this should be known. They have fallen upon misfortune. They have fallen upon destruction. The wicked one can do whatever he likes with them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then this is just now is a positive to do with the follow into the 5 sense pleasure, and this is a negative one. It's same thing, but it's actually repeat in the other way now. Okay. Okay. So it's same thing, so we will just skip it. So it means that it just say that somebody should not indulge in 5 sense desire. So this is example, right? If somebody as a wild deer wandering in the forest he goes confidently, stands confidently, he sits comfortably, he lies down comfortably. What is the reason for that? He is not monks within the range of a hunter. Even so, monks, okay. So it just say if somebody not in the 5 sense desire, so what will he has? So at this point, all right. So a monk quite secluded from sense desire, secluded from unwholesome things, having thinking, reflection, and happiness and rapture born of seclusion, thus having attained the first absorption jhana. This is of this monks, he has made Mara blind and footless. They destroy Mara eye, the wicked one wanders without seeing him. Furthermore, monks, a monk with the ending of thinking and reflection in the internal with the internal clarity and one-pointedness of the mind, being without thinking, without reflection, having happiness and rapture born on concentration, dwells having attained the second absorption jhana. All right, this is said of these monks. He has made Mara bright and fruitless. He had destroyed Mala eye. Okay, so this part is talking about getting the first jhana and second jhana, right? So this part is much more for those who want to follow the practice of jhana. So the first thing is he should not be infatuated with five sense desire, right? Yeah, so the five sense desire is the form, the sound, the smell, the taste, and the tangibility, all right? Tangible. So which is lovely, likable, all right? So we should be aware of this because once we are catch with them, it's like being bound by the Mara, fallen into the Mara. And then Mara can do whatever wants, just like a wild deer lying bound in a snare, right? So the Buddha is advising not to infatuated with the five sense desire, with the sight, sound, smell, and taste. All right. So if not, okay. So then after he's not in the five sense desire, then he can attain the jhana easily. All right. Okay. So this part is actually talking about first jhana. So yesterday in the class yesterday we already see Vitaka Vichara, all right? So Vitaka Vichara and then there's a Piti and Sukha. So this is the first jhana. So if he attain first jhana, is said that to be go outside the jhana, go outside the Mara's range. So not the Mara cannot capture him. And then the same passage then it go again without the Vitaka, Avichara. So means that go to second jhana. That's why in Sutanda, let's say I will mention Sutanda, there's only fourth jhana. Second jhana is without the Avitaka Avichara. So anyway, this part is talking about the second jhana. So after that, if he continue, so he will attain the third jhana. Okay. So which at that time the PT is no there. So it's more equanimous, but still the mind is very mindful, clear knowing, experience the happiness. So the sukha is very strong at that time. So then it's like what the noble one declare. He live pleasantly, mindfully, equanimous, the jhana. So this one, then it start to describe the four jhana. Then he give out the sukha, give out the pleasure and give out the pain. So the experience of the mental well-being and sorrow. And then without the pain, without the pleasure. So at that time, the mind is actually have the purity of mindfulness or into equanimity. So here talking about fourth jhana. So fourth jhana is actually the best in terms of jhana, lupa jhana. So this Pali you can find in many suttas. All these are standard phrase of Pali to describe the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Then the rest is start to talk about how to attain the infinite space and then the infinite consciousness and so on. So this one I will skip because these are to do with high jhana practice. Okay. All right. So now we can see the Buddha actually is teaching the monks the all the way first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, after that to the alupa jhana. Because the monks are capable, right? So this sutta, when I look at it, also strange. It seems that after they become enlightened, the Buddha start to teach this one. But actually, it's supposed to be after the Dhammacakka, then there's supposed to be Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. So not sure why is it here. Is it because it put in or is it in the actual sequence? Okay. And then what we learn from this sutta is just to tell you all, this sutta is good if you want to really feel the Buddha as a person, how he gained enlightenment, how he start to teach the bhikkhu, and how he have gratitude to his two teachers. And it also shows us even the Buddha, at first he learned all the way to the highest, the Alupa Jhana, but he gave up the practice. He gave up the practice of two teachers. Later, he practiced himself then he become enlightened. Okay. So from here, we know that in this sutta, he keep on saying the same thing. Try to see the first noble truth in us. What is first noble truth? Suffering in life, right? So you have to see, of course, now since we are in a birth, we cannot see birth as suffering, but we can see aging, sickness, death, lamentation, sorrow, right? These are parts of our life. So you have to see again, not just in meditation, but in normal life. Like you can say people getting old. You understand yourself getting old. Or you can use your mindfulness, go and contemplate the changes in the body, about how things are changing all the time, and we cannot control our mind and body. Especially when you are sick, when you have diarrhea, you really understand that we cannot even control the body. Okay. All right. So any question about this sutta? So later we will break 5 minutes, then we start to meditate already. Any question about this sutta?